I was considering the delay in the normal timing of the business statement this morning, and I was wondering if the Leader of the House was carrying on his normal practice of having a lie-in. And I'm just wondering if the Leader of the House will be aware, though, that with prorogation, if prorogation happens, that the Backbench Business Committee ceases to exist and has to be reappointed, re-elected, and therefore I will be writing to the Leader of the House with a list of as yet unheard debates, should any time become available after prorogation or possibly after a general election. And they include debates on women's mental health, which is vitally important, the role and sufficiency of youth work, which we've heard so much about recently, diabetes services with targeted prevention strategies, the 50th anniversary of the Open University, and parental mental illness, which with the impact on children's outcomes. So it's a list of things which are important and still need to be aired. Also, by the way, if prorogation does happen, there is also an opportunity or an application in for a debate about Baby Loss Awareness Week, which happens from the 9th to the 15th of October every year.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And may I take this opportunity to thank, on behalf of the whole House, the Honourable Gentleman for the wonderful work he does, Backbench Business Committee, and in ensuring that the House gets to debate those issues which are at the forefront of its mind and that Parliament functions effectively, and to take very seriously what he has said about the debates that may come up after an election or after a Queen's speech that require attention before the Backbench Committee has been reformed. As to my recumbent position, can I assure him my office is drawing up a position paper for me and is also coming up with a recline to take.
We have indeed had a panoply of questions, apart from the obvious one. When the motion on the early general election is considered at the end of Monday, will the bill that the House of Commons passed yesterday on ruling out no deal, will that have received royal assent? The reason why I ask this is I distinctly heard the Leader of the Opposition say yesterday that once this bill became law, he would vote for an early general election. And would my right honourable friend agree with me that it would be quite extraordinary if after this long session of Parliament, which is clear...
is proposed to close. What will the Leader of the House do to facilitate a debate so that we can all fight to save our steel industry?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There simply wouldn't have been time for these debates anyway, because we're about to go on the conference recess. We are losing 4 or 5 days of parliamentary time. And there will be a new session, a fresh session, a session full of interest and excitement, and the opportunity for debates on a range of issues.
Mr. Speaker, MPs across Staffordshire are very concerned about news that school transport provision will not now be available for those that have to pay for their school transport due to a ruling about the disability regulations. I don't want to go into the technical details at the moment, and I appreciate time appears to be short, but I wonder if the Leader of the House could find time for a debate on this important matter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think it is an important issue. I have a nasty feeling it's some tiresome EU regulation, so after the 31st of October we may be free to deal with it ourselves.
Mr. Speaker, city airport consultation plans propose an additional 110 flights a day, many of which would fly over my constituency. We're already faced with noise and air pollution from the aircrafts, and given we're in a climate change emergency, can we have an urgent debate in government time about airport expansions?
The City Airport is a fantastic airport and very convenient to use and very well run, but I understand that people have concerns about the increase in number of flights from airports. So I understand the issue that's being raised, and the Honourable Lady knows that there are many opportunities of getting debates, adjournment debates, backbench business debates, once Parliament has come back in October.
Tom Tugendhat.
Speaker, would my right honourable friend agree with me that we need an urgent debate in this House about planning? What we have seen recently is delays in various planning authorities, particularly the planning inspector, reviewing planning applications. This leads to the 5-year lag in planning, meaning that unapproved or groups of applications that are not part of the planning process from the Borough Council are being put in, and this is particularly affecting areas like the monastery and the nunnery in West Malling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I'm always concerned about anything that may affect a monastery. But on planning debates, obviously if we have a Queen's speech, we will have the normal days of debate after the Queen's speech, where I'm sure it will be possible to raise the important issue of planning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Jess, my constituent, was heavily pregnant when her husband was stealing from her account. She went to the bank. They said because she'd given him the PIN that was acceptable. The police had no legislation to support her. Kirsty Ferguson was married. They had homes.